People go on vacation to get away from stress, to get away from their normal, sometimes boring, mundane life. And so they go on this adventure, this vacation. And what people realize is that if you make your vacation too long, that gets too boring, too mundane. It's said that variety is the spice of life. And so, I was talking to someone a couple months ago. They went on vacation for 2 weeks in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And too long. They went with a great friend, but they said 2 weeks is too long to take a vacation, and they wanted to get back home. Good to see you, Andre, brother. Thank you for the first in a live chat. Appreciate you. And I think about that as I reflect tonight. I've been in this hotel for not 2 weeks, but about 10 days. And I kind of feel restless. I kind of feel antsy. I kind of feel like I need a vacation from my vacation. Now, I built my life as a nomad to try to live a kind of abnormal life where you're on vacation all the time, right? You still have human tasks that you need to do: laundry, the gym, hygiene, working, whatever you need to do. You can never avoid that. But I tried to have a simplified life and also a more exciting life than cutting grass and seeing the same neighbors, the same stores every day. But what I want to share tonight as the core message, as someone who has lived a unique amount of experiences, is that I'm sitting, in a hotel for about 2 weeks in a nice area of Florida. And, it gets boring. It could be too long. However, I lived an adventurous life where I've traveled up and down the East Coast, stayed at different campgrounds, different truck stops or whatever, and that gets um, too primitive. I'm not even going to say that you can do that too long. It's you got the key is balance. Okay, variety is the spice of life. The key is you're going to get tired with anything. Um, there are certain points in your life where you need to stay put to build your career, to build your life. You can blow with the wind sometimes, but sometimes you got to weather the storm. And so, you know, what I want to share is that we have to be very conscious, okay, of the length of commitment. In campground stays, normally 2 weeks is the maximum that you can stay at any one campsite. And I remember when I first started camping, I said, that doesn't seem long enough. And then I stayed at the same campsite for about 7 days. And I said, man, this is too long. It's like when we go to the buffet, we see everything, we want everything, and we want unlimited amount. But that's too much. You see a beautiful person, you want to marry them, and then you're with them too long, and you say, this is too much. We certainly need to commit. Again, we certainly need to weather the storm, but we certainly need to be conscious of the duration of commitment. Do I regret missing out on that condo? A little bit, because look, I know what happens when you're on vacation too long. You go back to normal, but then you go back to normal, and that's not the answer either. So I could keep exploring, but that's not the answer either, because you can only see so much and do so much. The key is, again, balance, variety, a healthy pace. Okay. Again, there's been people that have been cooped up in their house their entire life, and they're itching for an adventure. And there's people that travel the world or the country a couple times, and they've seen everything. And so, again, I want to say a healthy pace is what you need to find. You need to mix it up a little bit, just like a boxer, mix it up. And, if variety is the spice of life, remember that the meat and potatoes is your routine, your time management. your ability to structure your life while giving yourself enough flexibility to breathe in your life. And those are my thoughts tonight. We'll go to the live comments now. But again, on day 10 here, living in this hotel, staying put. This is the longest I've stayed put in one area for years, over 4 years. And what how do I feel? Well, in some aspects, I don't like it because it is a little bit. It's a little bit. I just feel like a caged bird. In the other sense, I don't want to just waste energy flying for no reason. And so, that's the give and the take. Uh, what's up, Andre? Good to see you, brother. Adam, what's up, Sam? What's up, brother? Timothy, hey, Sam. Hey, Andre. I'm with my family on the backyard around the fire pit with a beer on my hand. I love it. Well, that's awesome. That's good. Sounds like you're making a little adventure out of your homestead. That's good. Charles, what's up, Sammy? I took a ride over to St. Pete Beach, and it looks like a good area. It may not be living la vida loca, but it's clean beach area in my opinion. Well, again, there's a different vibe when you visit and when you live. So I would just recommend that you make several trips several times of the day in several different areas. And that, again, right now, as you explore Florida, you just moved to Florida, you want to be very cautious to make any long-term commitments because you're just, you're in the beginning stage of exploration of a new area. And, in Florida, there's one street that can be nice, another street that can be bad, and you have to go through a couple hurricane seasons. Hurricane season starts in June. It doesn't really get nasty till the end of July. And even when you don't get hurricanes, because again, I got a bigger hurricane in New Jersey, Hurricane Sandy, than ever hit Florida in the past 20, 30 years. So imagine living in New Jersey because you don't want hurricanes, and then Hurricane Sandy comes, blows your house away, and you've been telling people don't move to Florida because of the hurricanes. So I would just say again, absorb Florida for now. Keep your flexibility for now at a high level. Keep your commitments low, and get your footing, and see where you want to, plant roots if you want to plant roots eventually. Good to see you, Charles. Andre, what's wrong with your Wi-Fi? I'm on the bed instead of on the desk because I don't know. My neighbors are opening and closing their door, and I didn't want to be by their wall. So that's but I don't know. Yeah, hopefully the Wi-Fi is coming in good enough for you. Uh, if not, at the very least, I showed up. If the Wi-Fi was bad and if the video sucked, that sucks, and I don't want that to be the case. But I always say to myself, a bad video is better than no video. I always say to myself, it's better to show up than to not show up. And so, but I'm sorry. I apologize if it's not that good. Timothy, watching you from Niagara Falls tonight. Well, shout out to you, Timothy. Let me see what the weather is in Niagara Falls. It's got to be cold. That's in upstate New York, right? Close to the border of Canada. Niagara Falls weather. So it really doesn't get good up north. Well, Niagara Falls probably not till July. Wow, it's actually going to be in the 70s. That's interesting. So on Monday, you're at 74, then Tuesday, 77. Okay. So you're in the mid 70s next week, so that's good. Well, even today is 69. Good for you, man. That's awesome, man. You deserve it, man, because that's tough to live through that winter. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to Niagara Falls. Good to see you, Timothy. Thank you for your love, brother. Hope you're enjoying yourself outdoors, getting some fresh air if that's what you're doing, or just unwinding for the night. And, that's awesome. Adam, listening to you and watching UFC. Yeah, UFC is probably more exciting. Again, when people stay put, sports is an adrenaline rush. Sports requires a lot of discipline. A boxing match requires about 3 to 6 months of training for about an hour to fight. Um, a vacation can consist of 2 to 3 months of planning, and the vacation could be 1 to 2 weeks. It's the anticipation, it's the dreaming, it's the build up. What they say in most fights is the build up sells the fight. The more controversy, the more back and forth, the weigh in. Look at Mayweather and uh, McGregor, the fight a couple years ago. It was a lot of buildup. Even look at the Tyson fight and Roy Jones a few months back. What a letdown, right? But it's the buildup. It's the anticipation. It's the hope. It's the dream. And it's the same thing with a regular vacation. People, they conjure up like this vacation is going to change their life, magical. But in reality, you know, it's kind of just it's some good things, okay, with a lot of just regular things with some new scenery. So what I tell you is, pace yourself, um, like to say, and keep yourself, busy, productive. Today I went to the gym twice. I got more time on my hands. I went to the gym twice. I went to the park twice, but I'm still not moving as much as I was in my car. I like more movement, but I'm wasting a lot of energy too, though, just traveling in my car. So I'm trying to find this balance, and it's not easy to find. Keith, $10 super chat. Keith, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate you and your channel. Keeps me moving forward. Well, Keith, thank you. You've been very gracious to me, and you showed a lot of love, and thank you for that. I hope my words and my videos and my consistency and my experiences do help others in some way. I recognize that everyone has their own way to live, their own challenges, their own personality. But I want to thank you, Keith. I want to thank everyone. Very much appreciate that. There's not a day go by that that I don't get upset about certain things because I'm still human. If you ever get sad or depressed or angry, don't forget you're human. I remember Asian MILF told me that. I was dating her, and I was disappointed in some things I was going through. And sometimes there was periods of my time where I looked up. I felt like everything I had to do either not with a level of excellence, but I wanted to do good, and I'd put a little bit too much expectation on myself. And I remember her saying to me, she goes, "Sam, it's good that you want to do, but you're still human." And I had a couple of friends tell me that too, not just a MILF. Because there was times, whether I was reading the Bible and trying to be like Jesus, or whether I was reading history and trying to be like a great person. And people would tell me like, "Sam, you got to remember too, you're human." And you got to remember, guys, that you're human. Your Wi-Fi is imperfect, you're imperfect. And sometimes when you are perfect, when you do good, remember that's a moment in time. That's not every day. And some people, the only people who expect perfection is people who are never happy, because life is never perfect. And we have to learn to accept the spaghetti stain on our shirt. And that's not easy to accept. And that's why I like a disposable life with basic shirts, basic cars. Because, I don't know. I don't like to worry about everything being perfect. At the same time, I'm coming to a point in the minimalism journey that, I also don't want to deprive myself of some comfort. But it is true that, too much comfort is no good. Just like, too much vacation is no good. There's got to be some balance. Thank you again, Keith. Let's go back to live comments. Um, Timothy says, "Yep, the bridge to Canada is closed. Yeah, still with the coronavirus. Traveling is still restricted. A lot of people have been looking to try to get back in this vacation mode, and a lot of travel is still restricted. I feel for the Canadians out there who didn't get to come to Florida this summer, even though I've seen some. I have a viewer, Brent, who he has a house in Florida, but it's been vacant because he just hasn't been able to come because of the travel restrictions. And so, you know, all I can tell you is, uh, things are improving now. You don't have to wear a mask if you've been fully vaccinated. In most situations, I haven't been, as long as I'm not required to, because I'm fully vaccinated. So today, I've been going in stores in this hotel, and yeah, I haven't been wearing a mask because I got 2 shots, and you know, I mean, so hopefully that helps alleviate some of the closures. Marcel, hey Marcel, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. How are you, Marcel? Marcel, I'm listening and playing chess. Yeah, well, my tone is very soft tonight, and that's one thing. I don't know. I guess when you're listening to a video, it is nicer to have a softer tone. But I have a lot of energy inside me, and when I'm out in the public, in the gas station and truck stop or whatever, I can really get into it. So there is a different, demeanor, because I always tell you guys, every environment has a different protocol. There's a different protocol for when you show up to work, different protocol when you're in a hotel room versus a gas station, and there's a level of respect for the common areas. And I know my man Hal always tells me out till 11. In many campsites you have till 11 o'clock before it's what they consider quiet hours. And so, technically right now as I make this, it's just over 9 p.m. So, but there's something in my mind that is restricted because I want to respect my environment. And this is part of that caged bird feel. Like, I don't really feel free. I feel more comfortable, but I don't feel as free. So I still want to tweak what I'm doing. And that's why I was a little slow to pull the trigger on buying a condo, because even though I think I found a great one, I also want to tweak at an incremental pace the amount of commitment and comfort I make. Because once you go to a certain level, yeah, you can go back, but there's a lot of entanglement. It's like, yeah, once you get married, you can get a divorce. But if you're very much questioning the marriage right at the beginning, then be cautious. Okay. Once you're in, and once you got to get out, you get out. But I remember my past pain, and I'm trying to not repeat certain mistakes. Okay. Now, you're not going to create any life that has no pain, no mistakes. You're not going to be able to drink coffee and never spill it. You're not going to be able to prepare food and never make a mess. This is part of life, so you have to accept. You have to accept some mess. Just like I tell you, the YouTube channel, some nights the Wi-Fi is good, some nights your words are good, sometimes everything's good, sometimes not. The biggest thing, again, is consistency, and also adaptation, and trying to incrementally get better through evaluation of the past. And my evaluation of my past tells me that I don't do good with too much commitment. I don't do good with not enough flexibility. I can survive with very little, but I also don't want to deprive myself from some comfort. So this is the balance that I seek as I've kind of lived this nomadic life where you're always on vacation. And even now, as I'm taking a vacation from my vacation to get more comfort, uh, at day 10 in this hotel, I'm almost like, it's too long. However, the alternative is I go back to something that I know I've been doing it too long. I've been doing the nomadic life too long without adding something. So, the RVs, There's a lot of negatives. There's some positives, but there's a lot of negatives. Let's go back to live comments. I don't want to just talk about me. Hal, great to see you. Hal, love to you, brother. Always thinking about all your pro tips, man. Charles, thanks, Sam. How would you recommend making friends in a new area? I've thought about trying a few churches, but I don't want to make ultra conservative Bible thumping friends. Yeah, I mean, obviously there are progressive churches. My first thought was the gyms. But when you don't date someone that you meet in the gym because it's a very erotic place. Um, but in my experience, spend most of the time outdoors. Like, go to the gym. You can spark up a conversation there. Go to a public park, walk around, talk to people with their dogs or whatever. You'll meet people at the grocery store, right? Uh, I would only go to the church if you felt you needed to spiritually. I almost fell for the banana in a tailpipe where, you go to church to meet a girl. If you're going to, and girls do it too, I've seen the girls do it. If you're going to church to meet someone, you're not going for your spiritual well being. You're going, to basically the church Tinder. Swipe the Bible left if you want to marry this person. So, the church can provide a support system. It did for me, a new group of friends to support you, to get you away maybe from an old group of friends or get you away from a level of loneliness. But what you realize in the church is most people there are broken, trying to uh, fix their life or build their life. And I would say I was trying to change my life, and that's why I went, trying to get to a new place. But I met good people in the church. No one's perfect, but I would say, my about 10 years or so in the church, I met good people. I can't really say I met like, you always going to meet a few people that are, a little bit out there. But I would say if you pick the right church, with the right mindset, there's certainly going to be some people that are over religious. But I don't know how young people still get into the church game. I don't see that next generation doing it. So, but if you're middle aged like me, you'll probably can meet some middle aged people. But you're gonna have to look around. Just like you're looking around for a house or an apartment, you're gonna have to look around at different churches. That's the whole process. So, if spirituality and being in a church is important to you, and it was for me, and I think it was very important for me. Um, but like everything in life, how do you do something? You got to put yourself out there, and you got to keep putting yourself out there. How do you build a YouTube channel? Keep making videos. How do you build a career? Keep showing up to your job. How do you meet people? Keep putting yourself out there. On obviously online is the biggest thing now. I would definitely sign up to some of the online things. When I signed up to online dating, I did like Match.com. Every girl said they love travel. They love travel. And to me, that became a red flag because it tells me that they love travel because the constant excitement. But the constant excitement is not bad because, again, I live as a nomad. I'm a traveler, basically. But I don't know, man. Who am I to say what is someone else's perspective? But my opinion, okay, is if you ask the question, how do you meet people? It's the same principle of how do you do anything. You got to keep doing it. So you got to keep putting yourself out there, and you're gonna have to weed out the good and the bad, and you're gonna have to have similar interest, not just cosmetic beauty or cosmetic or artificial, shared hobbies. Charles, 299 super chat. Well, thank you, brother. Been very gracious. Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Keith, both of you. Because I'm hoping that my words are helping. Again, I feel restricted in this hotel room on how much I can get excited about a topic. But I do understand for being on the opposite side of YouTube, listening to a more mellow tone voice, a calmer voice, is more soothing and easier to listen to than someone yelling at his phone in a gas station. Sometimes it may not make for as good as entertainment. So everything, I have to adapt. Right now my environment is not the wild. So when my environment is the wild, I'm among, that's the mindset, right? When I'm in a civilized environment, which that's what I'm in, my mindset has to adapt to a civilized tone. And so some people can't. Some people are one way no matter what, and I think they miss out on life because it's not being two-faced to be able to adapt, it's being multidimensional. And if you don't understand what it is to be multidimensional, you don't understand the Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube is a multidimensional object, okay, that shows us in life, okay, the earth is not flat, it's a sphere. Uh, and if you don't still believe that, then you take an airplane, and the reason the airplane doesn't just fall off the face of the earth, the reason the airplane can go around the earth is because it's a sphere. It's this circle. So but some people still debate is the earth flat, and they also can't hold a job, they also can't hold a relationship. Guys, look, I've had some weird people out there, okay, and they get, but there's what is infinity volume control. Am I winning? God bless you, Infinity. I'll tell you right now, it's crazy. God bless you, Infinity. Very nice of you, man. You've been a blessing. God bless you, Infinity. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, all my members. Let me get to the comments. I appreciate you. Um, Infinity, great to see you, man. What's up, Sam? Good, man. How are you doing, man? I've been looking at the travel trailers because I said, man, if I had a condo, would I be bored out of my mind? Because after 10 days, I'm bored right now. But I know what the road is. I know what traveling is. It gets boring. I don't say it gets boring, but it can wear you out. So I said, should I go back to this RV option? I don't know. I haven't decided, You got to be very careful, though, when you get in the RV game, because once you're in, you're committed to try to make that work, because it's an expense, and it's a different lifestyle with campgrounds and RV parks. So, but I definitely empathize with what Infinity is going through, which is someone who has lived in a condo or an apartment for very long, and the walls close in on you, and I feel that even again, day 10, I feel like I've been in this hotel too long. I want to stick it out. Because what I've learned is a lot of nomads just move for the sake of moving, and they don't time and prepare things properly, and it's like 2 yards in a pile of dust. They're moving for the sake of moving. I want to have a focus. So, again, as far as traveling with the weather, in my opinion, it doesn't get warm enough to go up north until at least June. You don't really have to leave the southern hemisphere of the United States of America till mid-July. Once you get into late July, August, if you're gonna travel with the weather, that's the time to travel with the weather. Certainly, you don't have to. I've spent August and I've spent September in Florida. Um, so thank you again, Infinity, and thank you, everyone. Very gracious. I appreciate you. Don't take you guys for granted. I mean, I think about that. I was sharing. I may have lost my train of thought, but I said, well, I'm fortunate that YouTube. It's weird. It's been almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in July, and 20,000 subscribers and all the things, and a good side hustle, and some good connections. And before you know it, you get to a certain point where, yeah, it's like, what, this has gone a little bit further than maybe I thought. Um, and it is a uh, that on a consistent basis, it's been growing, and there's been people supporting. And I say to myself, because there's always a couple of weirdos out there. I say to myself, there are more positive than negative, and that is a responsibility, that I want to try to give back through some level of content. Again, whether it's information, entertainment, consistency, RV reviews, travel, or just being there. There's this one guy on YouTube that I like, but I think he's a hypocrite. He always says that, everything should be free, all the videos, everything, and all my videos are, but there's certain levels of, YouTube tiers, whether memberships or super chats. But he makes a video and then he deletes it. He makes a video, then he deletes it. So what value is it? None. Just to prove that, you're out there. People need something to watch. I wanted to watch some of his videos, but as soon as he makes it, he deletes it. He's fucking fraud. Nice guy, fraud. And, these people that get on their high horse, but there are a few people, most people, like I said, see, you start to talk to the haters or the negative people, but there's more positive. Talk to the positive. What would I say to the positive people? Well, one is, you don't owe me anything. I'm not entitled to anything. Two is, like everything in life, whether I'm hanging a ceiling fan or making a video, if I work for it, I'm not going to feel guilty for it. But I'm not gonna make someone agree to the terms. When I would quote a job in the electrical trade, I would, when I was doing my own business, I worked for private companies and I would do my own. I would go into someone's house. I said, look, I'll give you a free quote. You'll have to decide. There may be someone cheaper. There may be someone more expensive. No pressure. But here's what I charge. It's up to you if you want me to do it. And what I found out, this is what I found out. You know what? I'm going with you because you show up when you said you were going to show up. You call back. You're consistent. You know how many contractors I call? Can't even get them to call me back. You know how many YouTubers are? Can't even get them to upload consistently. You know how many frauds there are? They want free electrical work. They want free dry cleaning, free ice. They want everything free. They're fucking frauds. It's a shame. And what I could tell you is this. Go out there, whether you're on vacation in your car in a hotel, and you do what you do, and you look right in the face of all the resistance, and you say, I'm still doing what I need to do. Okay, and people who are doing what they need to do, they connect, and people who aren't doing what they need to do, they keep watching because they're obsessed for the fact that you saw right through their facade. Okay, and they don't have enough fake profiles to hide their ugly spirit, and that's why haters hate, and that's why LeBron wins championships. Okay, and that's why, guys, that's how you overcome. Okay. By saying, look, you couldn't make it to the NBA, so you know what you made yourself? A drunken heckler in the crowd. Okay, that all you do, the only reason you come to the game, okay, is to be a heckler. What type? I used to go to games. I paid money to go to game. Game wasn't free. I went to see LeBron James. Wasn't free. Paid for it. It was entertainment. So I go to the game to watch LeBron and watch the players, whoever you root for. And I was always amazed, let's just say there's 20,000 people in the stadium. Out of the 20,000, 19,000 are just there to watch a game. 1,000 of them are there to really be extreme, okay, and to boo or cheer really hard. A couple fanatics. I have this one troll. He makes new profiles every day, and one of them, he even says, like, Sammy Fanatic, he's total fucking nutjob. Goes on other channels, leaves a comment just to say my name. That's all right. It's the only thing that gives him joy. So I said, what type of person would paint their body and heckle someone who's entertaining the masses? Okay. No one's forced to come to a game. No one's forced to come to a YouTube channel. I'll tell you what type of person. Someone who has no life. So why should you even care? Because this is what if you wanna sell your house and get an RV, if you want to get off the road and get a house, if you want to have a YouTube channel, if you want to have a life, if you want to get a divorce, if you want to get married, if you want to cut someone off, this is the resistance. There's someone in your life that's a heckler. They got no life. They're in a failed marriage themselves. Their children don't respect them. Society don't like them because they're nasty people. Their coworkers can't stand them. They don't even, and that's why they dropped out of the workforce. Their videos suck. They do a video tutorial of reviewing a stuffed chocolate chip cookie. Then they delete the video because it's total disgrace. Then they separate profile. And you say to yourself in life, you feel guilty for getting a divorce because the person who's married, who's in a totally unhealthy situation, they're telling you it's not right. You feel guilty for leaving the church, and the person in the church is committing adultery on their wife. You feel guilty for earning money, and there's someone who is an entitled person collecting some disability, and they tell other people they shouldn't collect disability. You know, sometimes, you know, the biggest, I always say, like, the biggest hypocrite is the one that worries about everyone else being a hypocrite. So what my message now is, don't worry about the heckler in your life. But it's good. It's good to be able to overcome. I don't know why someone would come to a game just to boo someone. At the same time, misery loves company. So I don't know why. I remember someone had said to this person, like, yeah, you should get married. And I said, why are you telling me to get married? You're unhappy in your own marriage. And he told me, go, Sam, hey, I don't want to be the only one unhappy. It's true. It's true. I don't think he meant any malice, you know. But what I want to tell you guys, it's your life. If what you're doing is not hurting someone, don't you even think about worrying what someone else thinks, okay? Because you get to decide how long you want to live a certain way, whether it's on vacation, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's at a job, but everything has consequences. Everything has consequences. But the worst consequence is making a decision based on the heckler, not on your love for what you want to do. If your love, okay, is to make money, you better not let that nasty coworker make you stop showing up. If your love is to have a side hustle, you better keep making those videos, keep delivering those door dashes. If your love becomes dulled by the deranged, mentally disturbed, handicapped sticker wearing motherfucker, what I want to tell you tonight is, remember, the handicap sticker is not just for the physically disabled, it's for the mentally disabled. And I had someone yell at an old woman for getting out of a handicap spot. And I said to myself, two people parked in a handicap spot yelling at each other. And I tell you right now, guys, there's no respect. So I don't know why you're trying to gain respect from someone who's yelling at another handicapped person. You can't. And like I said, guys, I watch some of these people get high on their horse on the bottom of YouTube. And you know what their videos are about? Yelling at other people. Yelling at the heckler. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate your super chat. Let me get back to the live comments, because it's not about me, but I'm just trying to tap into some inspiration. Thank you, Charles. Thank you. And that was the message. It's important to make your own decisions, not your father's decisions. Never regurgitate what your father told you. Journey with Jordan asked me that the other night. What should he do if his parents have a different philosophy? Well, I said, look, try to respect your parents, but it's your life. Look, if your parents had you just to be an indentured servant, they're not your parents. They're manipulators. The worst thing you can do in life is have someone help you and then throw it back in your face. And what I've learned is it will happen. And it's a sad day when you wake up 10 years later and someone throws in your face what they did for you 10 years ago. I had someone ask me today on YouTube, "You're quick to judge people." I said, "I'm quick to judge because I waited 10 years for people to change." And they regurgitate and they go right back to what they were 10 years ago. I'm not wasting another day of my life because I believe in that Maya Angelou quote, believe someone when they shows you who they are. I don't expect anyone to be perfect because as I get older, I see my own flaws and I want to be a man of grace and compassion. Obviously, I share a certain intense mindset at times on the channel because it's my personal time to vent and to share. But overall, I look at my life and how I've treated other people and what I've done, and I have a peace because I haven't always been perfect. I've made mistakes, but overall, I treated people right, treat people fair, try to do the right thing. I've made, I need forgiveness like everyone else. But overall, I know I'm a good person. None of us are good, but you know what I mean. And so I won't be guilt tripped by someone who's hollering at someone else. I won't be guilt tripped, okay, by someone who has no religion, okay, because their religion, okay, is that garble of ultra conservative, stiff, stubborn, nasty. They don't even know what Jesus is if it smacked them in the head with a dildo. At the same time, I got in a place where, you know what? Let's take a hydration break. I'll tell you that. "81 people watching, 20 thumbs up." Click the thumbs up, guys. Thank you for all the positive people. Thank you for the 19,000 people in this 20,000 people arena that are here to watch a good game. I want to thank you. I want to take time to say never give up my positive people. Never let a heckler turn you into a heckler. Never yell at someone who's yelling at you. When someone starts to yell at you, that's not a sign to engage, that's a sign to disengage. I remember someone started to raise their voice at me at the job, and I liked this guy. But you know what I did? I shut my mouth and I said, you know what? Conversation's not going to go anywhere positive. I turned around and walked away. Best thing I ever did. Saved my job. When someone starts to yell, it's a sign of ignorance. Okay. Now look, sometimes I yell, mainly on a video or something, very rarely. And I'm not saying there's always exceptions, guys. I'm not saying there's not exceptions. But I'm saying on average, most of the time, 90% of the time in life, if you have to yell, you're in the wrong company. Oh, I'll tell you right now, if you guys didn't hear anything I said, I want you to hear this one. 90% of the time, if you have to yell, you are in the midst of the wrong people. Okay. And I'm not talking about yelling at the gym or getting yourself worked up to lift or making a passionate video or making passionate love. You know, some people haven't made passionate anything. They just got anger. That's what I'm talking about, anger. Have you ever told someone you had too much to drink? Ooh, don't tell them that. Never tell someone. If you think they had too much to drink, walk away, because you're dealing with the mentally unstable. Remember, alcohol makes the mind delusional. Remember, the same thing with some prescription drugs. Some prescription drugs are needed, but some are abused. If you mix the two, you're in a whole nother dimension of the Rubik's Cube. But people are trying to numb the pain of life. I understand the pain of life. That's why as I get older, I don't have any like major judgment. I don't like certain people. I'm not going to lie about it. But I know, I could say it. I don't look to hurt people. There's been plenty of times I could have really stuck it to people. I let it slide. Not worth it. And so forgive me because I'm getting long-winded. I want to read all live comments. Thank you again, all my members, all the people that watch and support the channel. Thank you. I speak to you tonight, okay, because I can never reach the people that are unreachable. Never throw your pearls to pigs. Never forget it. My message to you tonight is even a vacation can become too long. Even something good can become bad. Mix things up, but always be around the right people most of the time. Because even if you do everything right, life is not worth living when you got a heckler in your inner circle. A heckler is for when you're performing in front of the masses. A heckler should never be in your household, should never be in your text messages. If a heckler has your phone number, if a heckler's in your live feed, you haven't earned enough memberships. Because what I could tell you is this, guys, I had free live chats, and it was just people who wanted to say a bunch of bullshit. Sometimes, not all the time. There's some good people in the free live chats. And those people all support, the good people, they supported me. I said, Sam, look, you got to do what you got to do. You showing up every day, you didn't delete your videos. You do what you got to do. I still watch, but I got to do me. I said, no, nothing wrong with that. Non-committal. And what I could tell you is this, guys. Don't change your game plan for the psychopath who runs on the field with a painted body. Let security handle that. Focus on your game plan. Back live comments. Oh man, I'm very late on these comments. Forgive me, guys. Kathy, hey Kathy, how are you, Kathy? Shout out to Chicago. How are you? How's it going up there? We're a couple weeks away from Memorial Day weekend, which is the unofficial beginning of summer. Technically, let me look this up. Summer doesn't begin till June in America, in the United States of America. What day? Because remember, guys, it's not just the United States of America. In other parts of the world, they're getting ready to go into winter. You know, as we become connected through the internet, you have to remember humanity. We're all on Earth, okay? And the only people who want wars are the powers to be controlling the weak-minded people who like conflict, okay? Because the truth is, guys, most people, no matter what country, they just want to live their life. The powers to be know there's hecklers, and the hecklers, while they're a small percentage of people, they scream the loudest. Don't get caught in the BS. What day does summer start? This year, 2021, summer starts June 20th, and it goes through September 22nd. So, I mean, that's what I mean, guys. You don't want to travel up north in the United States of America till June, and probably the middle end June. Because if you're a nomad, you know, if you travel up north now, you're not getting good weather. People forget that. And they jump because they can't stay put. Like, guys, again, I feel 2 weeks is too long to be in this hotel. However, I also know that what's my other options? You know, it's not, you don't want to just travel for the sake of traveling. You know? How? Where is my man Pluto? Have not seen him in a while. Oh wait, I miss Fred. Forgive me, Fred. Fred, what's up, my brother? How's the weekend going? Fred, love to you, man. Shout out to BK. You and Hal, both from BK. The weekend's going good. A little boring. You know, because not being in my car and living in this hotel, it's boring. It's more comfortable. It's allowing me to reflect. It's allowing me to recharge, refocus. But let me say, what did I do today? What did I do on Saturday? I woke up, I had breakfast in the morning, I had complimentary free hotel breakfast. I made my own coffee. Then I went to the gym. Then I did some work because I wanted to. Having my own office space here has made it easier to do a lot of things on a computer. So I did some work just to prepare for next week. I like to do that. I don't have to, but I like to always be a little step ahead of the game. Why? Because when I was in high school, I really didn't like high school. In middle school is always the turning point because you get peer pressure and you want to impress others. So I kind of stopped being into books. But in high school, I did just enough to get my degree. But what I've learned is just like when you're in high school, whatever, if you prepare the night before and if you have your homework done the night before, life is easier. Your life goes easier. And again, in high school, I didn't really do that. I did it in middle school, but in high school, I kind of always because I got into the peer pressure, hanging out with kids and stuff. And so as I become an adult, I put away childish things. Again, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, reasoned as a child. When I became an adult, I put away childish things. So as I advanced in my career and as I get older and older, what I try to do is always stay a little bit ahead and always kind of like do my homework a little bit ahead so that when the week comes up, I've already got things lined up. And I pace myself so that I don't get overwhelmed. Because when people get overwhelmed, they stop showing up. And I like that feeling of being a little bit ahead. There's no guarantee. Again, I've been through so many things in life where you get laid off anytime, anything happen. But I've also avoided layoffs because I've been consistent and had good reviews. And part of that is because I think ahead. I always tell you guys the story as an apprentice electrician. I was standing under a ladder, and the journeyman was up on a ladder. And I was daydreaming, guys. I was thinking about the weekend, like my man Fred had asked. And he would yell down at me. He said, "Sam, hand me this tool." And then 5 minutes later, he'd be like, "Sam, hand me this tool." And then after about like 3 times doing that, he came down off the ladder. And he said, "Sam, look, I know you're young, but if you're going to do this, you have to watch what I'm doing and you have to anticipate the next move." And I remember him saying that. It still took me time. And then when I got out of construction and into IT, building management, I remember my manager said, "Sam, look, you're diligent, you're hardworking, you got your certifications, but you need to think beyond the electrical portion of the job. You need to think about the other components, the vendors, the corporate budget. You need to think about that. Because if your whole life you just think about the electrical work, you're always going to be just an electrician." And he goes, "If you want to be more, you have to think about more. You have to think ahead in a comprehensive way." And it's like, so I don't know how I got into that, but I hope that helped a little bit. Fred, I love you, man. I hope I'm giving you value, Fred. I hope somehow, because you're giving me a lot of value. And, look, that's my hope too, I want to make sure I read all the live comments. I did it before memberships. I do it during memberships. But I also try to expand on my thought to give some value. I hope I'm giving value to you. And if I'm not, you guys don't have to be here. Like I say, and I think that's fair. But that's my hope. Hal, where is my man Pluto? Have not seen him in a while. Yeah, Pluto went through a big year last year, man. He always watches, or at least he does when he can. But he went through a big year. He lost his mother last year. And then he went from Pennsylvania to California. And he was living the nomad life. And then the nomad life just wasn't working out. He was renting a car, and then he started renting an apartment. And he has still come in here periodically and shown love and done a lot of things. But I think he's in a moment of trying to get his footing again. D, $3 super chat. You inspire me so much, D. Thank you. Thank you with gratitude. Forgive me for being late on that, D. I appreciate you. Keep pushing forward. How do you beat depression? Well, guys, how do you beat anything? Self-care, the grace of God, and when in doubt, do something. Why? Because doing nothing is idle time, and Not being productive is so negative for your mental and physical health. One thing I don't like about being in this hotel is that I feel like I have leftover energy at the end of the day. I try to stay, again, I went to the gym twice today, I went to the park twice. And what I don't like living in a car is that I'm always moving just for the sake because I have to. And I'm wasting a lot of energy. I want to find balance where I'm maximizing the use of my energy. But at the end of the day, I don't have energy. I'm tired. And this hotel life or regular conforming life condo house, now, a lot of people, guys, they got all this energy, all this time at the end of the day, and it's not healthy. You know, again, but there is a balance between roughing it and comfort that we have to find. But I'll tell you right now, if you don't find something to do, depression will find you. And even when you find something to do, depression will find you. If you're depressed, you're not necessarily ill, you're human, you know. Because even, no matter what life I lived, condo, car, hotel, doing good financially, not, you could have your ups and downs. Now, again, there's some people that have deep psychological issues and they need to get serious help based on their individual circumstance. And there's some that are just going through life. You're just human. You're not going to get through life without ups and downs. I wish it wasn't the case. The bottom line is the best you can do is stay productive and change things. If you're really in a rut, you need to change, and you give some thought, planning, research into the change. And sometimes the change is dramatic, and sometimes it's incremental. There isn't an exact science to life. I wish I can share if you're in this, do this, etc. But you can't. Especially considering we are all on our own unique journey with our own fingerprint, different than your parents, different than me. All we can do is get a spark from different people, take accountability for our own life, and figure out what we should do. It's not easy, but we can. Okay. Thank you, D. Thank you, everyone. Um, Thank you, Hal. A shout to Pluto if he ever watches this. We love you. Charles, thank you. Infinity, thank you. Charles. The Sammy at the gas station sounds like a wrestler cutting a promo. Yeah, I sounded, that's true. But I never did it as that, some people, that's their stick. It's like everything is the gimmick. Uh, you know, it was my true mindset. Just like right now, it's my true mindset, and I adapt to whatever environment I'm in. Because that's what you do. That's what you should do. Not everyone does that. One of the biggest compliments I ever got was a manager told me, Sam, he found out, I was gonna sell my house, so live in my car, move to Florida. He said, Sam, I don't know what you're doing, but I know that you'll figure it out because you can adapt. And that was a compliment. I take it as a compliment. I always tell you guys, what's the number one book I recommend you read? It's the book called Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. My dentist recommended this book years ago. It's a simple book. I think it's less than 100 pages. And it's all about adapting. It gives this story of four mice or whatever caught in a maze. And in the beginning of the book, there's cheese in a certain part of the maze. And so the mice go to this place every day. Again, humans are creatures of habit, so are animals. Shout out to Pat Go. I went to the park today, I fed my squirrels. The squirrels are not around during the height of the day. The squirrels tend to be more active and outside in the beginning of the day and end of the day when the heat is not as high. And so when I come in the morning at a certain time, they're there and they see me. At night, they're there. In the afternoon, they're not there. But the mice in this book, Who Moved My Cheese, they go to the same spot every day to get this cheese. But the person that's running the maze, running this experiment, moves the cheese. And to see how the mice react. Now, some mice, they say, we gotta get this cheese back, it's gonna come back. And some say, look, it ain't coming back. We got to change. Just like life, right? Just like politics, just like your job. Things don't go back. They go to a different dimension. Remember, once milk goes sour, you can't make it fresh again. There's a scripture that says you can't put new wine in old wineskins. Got to move on sometimes. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go back to live comments. My man Fred, I noticed the calmer tone since the first night you got in the hotel. Yeah, I'm civilized. Remember Charles Barkley had that he had that Rite Aid, right guard deodorant sponsorship, where he would do, because Charles Barkley in his heyday, when he was playing for the Sixers and stuff, he was very much a rebellious, but he was like truth teller. He's very outspoken, and he had did this commercial. He got paid endorsements like channel memberships because he worked his way up. Hey guys, look. So Charles Barkley gets this paid endorsement, not for Jackery battery packs, but for right guard deodorant. And so he does this commercial where he's playing croquet, I think, and he's riding on a horse. He's very civilized. And it was like this whole thing about right guard and a certain brand that they were building. Remember, they also had that, it wasn't with Charles Barkley, but remember they also had that commercial for Grey Poupon. It wasn't just mustard. It was a step above mustard. A lot of things are branding. A lot of things are paid endorsements. How many nomads, how many YouTube videos you watch? Guys, a lot of it is just paid endorsements. Whether it's about the internet service, whether it's about the solar battery pack. Because look, guys, no one's going to waste their time to do something for nothing. Bottom line. And so, but even with that being said, you could still see through the BS and you can still get something out of what you need to get out of something. Okay? Because even commercials I learned a lot from. Even entertainment I learned a lot from. Even wrestling I learned a lot from. Even sports. Again, I paid to go watch sports. Why? Because, hey, guys, you get something from it. Okay? So what are we talking about now? We're talking about get what you need to get. Okay? Do what you need to do. Adapt how you need to adapt. And see through the BS and move on if you don't like what you see. Moving on is not easy. And that's where arguments start. The beginning of an argument is someone trying to move you. But what I've learned in life, if you have to argue, the only person that should move is you. Because I've never, again, I would say over 90% of the time, I've never seen, because someone got upset and argued, that they changed something. Now, look, again, once in a while, you gotta shake things up. Change your tone. You gotta raise your voice a little bit. But, a lot of argument is just like wasted energy. All right, let's go back to live comments. I'm getting way off track. My man Infinity, my good brother, thanks for asking. Well, Infinity, I think about you often, man, because I know the journey you're on to get more adventure, get out of that condo life. And I hope that I'm sharing a balanced perspective on the nomad life and the condo life, because I've lived both. And both have their pros and cons. And everything has a season. And you need to go for whatever season of life you're in. You need to mitigate your risk. You need to have exit strategies, but you also need to go for it. And you need to have that balanced perspective as well. And you will. You're a smart guy, Timothy. Babe Ruth, the loudest boos come from the cheap seats. That's a great comment, Timothy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good comment. He goes. Babe Ruth had a quote: "The loudest boos come from the cheap seats." That's a very interesting comment. Yeah, I mean, look, guys. Successful, good-looking people don't troll. Why would someone who's doing good be mad? They're not, and you should let that soak in for a while. Good job, Charles. The more you grow, the more people who were at your level start to feel uncomfortable. That's an excellent comment. You know, you can give your 2 weeks notice, but for many people, it's still going to be tough. You can tell your parents that you want to move to Florida or whatever, and initially they'll say, ah, yeah, maybe he'll do it, maybe he won't. But then when you put your house on the market, if you want to cause a disruption, change. And if you change, everyone from your parents to your coworkers are going to feel the earthquake vibrations. And you're going to see at that point who can handle change and who can't. And the sad thing about life is not many people can handle change. Not because they hate you or they want something bad to happen to you, because they can only take so much. You know, like I tell you guys, I met people that when I sold my house, whoa. And then I met people when I got off the road, they're like, whoa. You know, people need you to be who they need you to be. But you need to be who you need to be. And they need to work on themselves. But for many people, the distraction is more important than the work of their own life. Thank you again, Charles, for that gracious tip. Thank you, brother. Charles, it's important to own your decisions. You have to take accountability. You know, if you make a bad investment, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of trickery behind the scenes, but you gotta say, I did it. If you make the wrong decision at work or whatever, just say, you know what, I apologize. I made the wrong decision. I found that you get more grace when you own up to your decision or when you try to avoid it. I worked with this guy, very smart guy, and every time something would go wrong, he would always have all these excuses. And it's like, you know, you at a certain point you don't trust him. You can't be friends with him because it's like sometimes, like I tell you guys, you know, like when someone does something gracious for you, you should say thank you and shut your mouth. If you don't, sometimes if the panties are dropping, don't start talking. Guys, when the panties drop, that's the time to shut the fuck up. When something goes wrong, sometimes you just say, look, I was wrong, admit it, whatever, and shut up. And that's wisdom. Marcel, you're right. I'd add to that you should never compromise. I quit university because obtaining the degree wouldn't have benefited me. I'm choosing personal training. Marcel, I am making better money now than ever just teaching people English. I'm looking to make my move to the US this year. I got 4K USD currency saved up in cash. Well, Marcel, love to you, brother. And I respect the fact that you're doing something, you know, because I can never be mad at someone who's doing something. So, you know, look, you're doing what you need to do. You're earning an income, and you have a plan to move. And so, you know, in my opinion, that's a blessing. You know, like I tell you guys, you know, you don't have to do everything, but you got to do something. You're doing something. And so good job, brother. Charles, amen. And Marcel, amen. D. Sam, your goodness shines through, and that's one of the reasons I watch you. Well, thank you, D. I mean, reciprocal love to you. Um, Again, I'm grateful. Uh, I've tremendous gratitude for those who watch and support in any way, even if it's just watching. And I'm grateful. Thank you. My man Roderick. Hey, Roderick, one of my newer members. Peace, Sam. My adversaries, I wish them the best, even if they wish me the opposite. Yeah, I mean, remember, someone who wishes bad on you, it's, I don't know. You know, all I can tell you, Roderick, is that you have the right attitude. Good job. Marcel. At Charles, thanks. Best of wishes to you too, brother. It's awesome. D. Never throw your pearls to pigs. I'm going to keep that in my head all the time. It's a good quote. Keep telling us that, please. It's a great one. Well, thank you, D. Thank you, D, too, for that gracious tip. Um, Thank you. D. Oh, yeah, the left handed screwdriver. Oh, yeah. I find it's best not to be predictable. Keep them guessing. Yeah, mix it up. I agree with that. Good job. Charles, remember when Mick told Rocky in Rocky 3, the worst thing that happened to you is you got civilized. Yeah, he lost his edge. You know, have I lost my edge? Well, look, again, I'm definitely civilized. I mean, I definitely, look, I like some of the comforts of the hotel or the regular life, but there's a lot of it I don't like. I want to find a balance. But I definitely feel a lower vibe. But I believe I can figure it out. But it's going to take time. I don't need to rush, but I do need to do something. I don't want to be out in the wilderness just for the sake of it. I want to try to figure out what's next. And if nothing is next, maybe just temporary breaks, then that's what that is. But either way, guys, I mean, and girls, I hope I gave you something tonight. And thank you for everything that you've given me. I hope that I spent enough time. I read every comment. I hope that I didn't. I just hope I did well for you and gave you something. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.